So I was able to take part in the Hello Summer launch party with Fun Stampers Journey, and I'm now going to go ahead and share the video that I created with them. I hope you enjoy. Hey friends, so for the first card here, I wanted to make a scene. I wanted to make a background for my card. So I'm going to be making a card in an A10 size. Now the typical size for this is about 9 inches long by 4 inches wide. And then I have this cardstock cut down to a little bit smaller than that so that I can mount it on a white card base. What I'm doing here is I'm using some Fun Stampers Journey ink, and I am just going to stencil on some grass here. I want to make a grassy field because my thought was to make sort of an alien abduction scene. I thought this would be really fun and kind of humorous, and so I want to make a grassy field here for my aliens to come and invade. So I'm just using a little bit of ink. I'm blending on some grass here, and then I'm actually going to come in with a lighter shade of green too and add another row of grass. I'm using a stencil for this. You could make your own stencil. If you have a die cutting machine, you could cut out some grass. If you don't, you can always freehand cut some grass out of cardstock to use your own stencil for grass. Otherwise, you can just simply blend on some ink on the bottom of your card. You don't need a grass stencil, just blend on some green, or even use some Copics or markers to kind of brush on some grass blades. So there's a lot of different ways that you can add your own grassy scene. This is just the way I'm doing it today, and I'm coming in with another color of green from this Fun Stampers Journey ink, and this is a lighter green. I want to layer it behind this darker green that I have on there and just get a little bit more dimension on my grassy field. I'm just kind of simply taking my ink blending tool and tapping on some of this ink. I didn't want to really rub too hard in circular motions because that stencil is a little bit thin. I didn't want it to come up and mess up my grass. So I'm just kind of simply tapping it on. But these ink pads are really juicy. There's a lot of pigment in there, so you really don't have to work too hard to get a nice ink blend. I'm going to be doing a lot of ink blending on this card, and you'll see that later because I'm building a fun theme. But I am using this little UFO image from the Space Cadet Stamp Set, and all of these stamps are red rubber stamps. They are cling stamps, and they stamp out fantastic. Now you can use your stamping platform, your Misti, your Tim Holtz, whatever you have, but I find that they stamp out really well just using a stamp block. So that's what I've done here today. I've stamped out 3 of these UFOs. I'm using a little bit of alcohol markers to go ahead and color these. I'm making this little spot on the bottom of the UFOs kind of look like lights on the bottom. Those are where those tractor beams are going to come out of so that they can abduct whatever is in that field. And I hope you just kind of find the humor in this like I do. I grew up with a dad who started watching, Lost in Space and Star Trek and all of those sci-fi things. So the sci-fi side of it really hits home for me. I thought this was fun and really just fun to create. So I am just kind of using my alcohol markers, like I said here, to color in these images. These are really simple images to color. I'm just using a few different shades of gray and sort of blending them together. I did start to color a red UFO, but I didn't think it would really match with the colors I was going with today, so I went with just some gray. It makes it look like a shiny metal UFO that's coming in from the sky. Now to color these sort of glass bubbles on top, I'm taking some silver Wink of Stella and just brushing it on, and it's kind of giving it that tinted glass illusion, and it's got some sparkle on there as well. Now, if you wanted to go really fun with these UFOs, there are a few astronauts and a few little alien people in this Space Cadet Stamp Set. You could totally mask those into your UFOs and have them flying around. I wanted to just add a little bit of a tinted glass bubble to the top of these, so I didn't mask them in there today. I'm taking another stencil and I'm ink blending on some of that same really light green ink that I used for the grass, and I'm kind of making those beams coming down out of the sky, and I'm going to add my UFOs right over those beams so it looks like they're invading this field and abducting, I don't know, cows, people, whoever is in this field. I just thought it was really humorous. I don't know, maybe my sense of humor is a little weird and messed up, but I had fun making this card, and that's what matters, right? So I'm taking some more of this Fusion ink from Fun Stamper's Journey. This is a light blue, and by this time, with all the inking that I've been doing, my fingers are getting a little bit full of ink, and I didn't want to get fingerprints on my scene. So I'm using a piece of scratch paper to hold down my scene as I ink blend so I don't get fingerprints on my card. I put that blue down first so that I could get a lighter color, and now I'm coming in with a darker purple, and I'm going to darken that sky. I want it to look like a night sky, and these aliens are coming in at night to, attack this field. So you might notice that I've left some white around where I'm going to put my UFOs. That's because I want it to look like they're glowing. I want it to look like there's some light there. So I ink blended this purple around the edges, and I really like that effect of that light blue in the background with that darker purple on top. And I think it really pops with the green from the grass and the green from the lights of the UFOs. Now this is some sparkle silk from Fun Stamper's Journey. I think it's really fun, and it is super sparkly. Oh my goodness, I was so surprised by how sparkly this was, and it works perfectly for just splattering on to create a starry sky, and I thought that was really fun. So now that I have that scene kind of all put together, I'm going to add a sentiment. Now this sentiment is from that Space Cadet stamp set, and I thought it would look great with this scene. It says never stop looking up, and it's supposed to be kind of an encouraging stamp sentiment. But with this scene, it kind of becomes a little bit ominous, and I thought that was just really kind of funny. So I added that as well to my little UFO card. And since this is so long and skinny, I didn't want to use all of my foam adhesive for this card. So I am using a piece of craft foam. I'm using a bright green because it kind of goes with the whole color scheme of this card. And that's going to evenly apply support behind my card so that it's not sagging in any area, and I can pop it up on my card base. Now, like I mentioned before, these A2 or A10 cards are long and skinny. They're about 9 inches by 4 inches. So it makes a great size card for a scene. If you want to build a scene with any of these stamps, they're really fun to play with. So that's the first card. Let's move on to the second card, which is another fun one that I used this Space Cadet stamp set on. And I'm also using this bubble wrap embossing folder. This one gives you some great texture. And I've also got some of this silver sort of shiny cardstock here from Fun Stamper's Journey. I'm cutting that out with a circle die, and then I'm inserting it inside my embossing folder. I'm going to run this through my Platinum 6, and the way you want to do embossing folders is take your cutting plates out, just use the platform and the embossing plate, and that's all you need. It gives it plenty of pressure to get a really great texture with these embossing folders. These embossing folders give you some really great texture. You can see here that this bubble wrap embossing folder makes a really great design on this cardstock. It looks like a planet or maybe the moon. So I'm going to use that as one of the main focal points of my card. I'm also taking some of this blue cardstock. This is again from Fun Stamper's Journey. I am stamping out some of these space rocks, meteoroids, asteroids. I don't know exactly what they are, but they make a really great border if you stamp them all around your cardstock and then emboss them. So I'm stamping them in embossing ink, and then I'm going to emboss them with some silver embossing powder, and that's going to match that cardstock that I used, and it's really going to give some nice shine. If you wanted it to be more of a subtle pattern, you can definitely use your embossing ink and just let it dry, and you have that subtle pattern in the background that you can layer on top of. I wanted to add some extra shine because if you follow me at all, you know that my cards all have some kind of shine, some kind of glitz on them, and I just really love it. So here are all of those images embossed. I think they're so fun. It makes a nice little border around my little piece of cardstock here. And I really like that navy, and I wanted to add some more sparkle on there, so I'm layering it on a piece of that silver sparkly cardstock from Fun Stamper's Journey. And I'm just using some liquid glue to adhere it down. You could definitely use tape runner adhesive as well. I find that on sparkly cardstock, the liquid glue kind of works better because sometimes that tape runner has a hard time sticking to that texture on the cardstock. So I am popping this panel up with some foam adhesive. I wanted to get some dimension here on the card, and I'm going to start adding my embellishments. So here's this embossed piece that is kind of like my moon, my planet. I'm going to go ahead and add that with some liquid glue as well. I wanted that to kind of hang off the side to give a little bit more interest, kind of look like my design is popping off the page and continuing off the card. And I'm adding another piece of foam adhesive behind the edge that is hanging off. That's just going to give it some support and help it not sag or get squished when sending it in the mail. Next, I am stamping out my sentiment. I'm using the same blue cardstock, and I'm using the same embossing powder that I used on my other images, and so it's all going to coordinate. I thought this was a really fun sentiment. All systems are go, congrats. I thought maybe that would be a fun one to use if you're making a graduation kind of card, or some kind of accomplishment for someone. I know graduations are coming up now. Everyone's having the graduation parties, so this would be great to throw on a congrats card, maybe slip a little gift card in there or something for that graduate. So I've got my sentiment on there, I've got my big planet, and I want to add some of these cute little embellishments. Now these are some embellishments that kind of go with this whole collection. You've got some dimensional stickers here, and I love this little rocket with that shiny paper on it. You can see you've also got some of those UFOs, so if you wanted to recreate the alien abduction card and use those UFOs instead of stamping some out, you could absolutely do that as well. And then they have some of these really shiny little round ones. And this one here that I'm putting on, it's got some stars and some designs in there if you look close up, and it just looks really cool. Some of these even look like a little galaxy in themselves. They are super shiny and super fun. And that finishes the second card for today. So a lot of the shine and stuff comes from the paper and the embossing powders, and I really love these stickers as quick, easy embellishments. They look so fantastic. So we're going to move on to the third card, and this one is really fun. I'm using the Space Cadets Stamp Set. I stamped out all these images here so that you could see them, and I colored in a few of them with my colored pencils. And I think these are really cute. It's got all these animals in, astronaut suits, and they've got carrots and different things that you could put in the sky and have them float around trying to catch. You could also use these with some slider dies, make a slider card, and that would be super fun, super cute. I'm going really clean and simple with these cards today. So after I went ahead and I fussy cut out all these little astronauts and little pieces, I'm taking some more of my Fun Stamper's Journey ink, and I'm ink blending on a piece of an oval piece of cardstock that I cut out. I'm using those same colors that I used for my first card. I'm just ink blending them on. I think the blue and the green here works together really well. I'm doing the green on the bottom, I'm bringing the blue in from the top, and then they're going to overlap in the middle, and you'll see how well these colors blend together. Even when you're doing sort of two different colors, they blend together well. I'm also going to put some of that lavender on top. I just love that look of that lavender to kind of darken that sky. And I'm going to layer this on my card and layer my little space cadets on there, and it's going to look like they're kind of floating around on this piece of cardstock. I also have some of those other stamps stamped out. You can see I have a rocket ship there. I have a little Earth and another one of those big space rock or moon type things stamped out and colored. And I thought, how fun would it be to make sort of a a celebration kind of card, and make it look like these little images are balloons. So I'm going to do that. I'm using some foam adhesive to pop up this little puppy dog astronaut. I think he is so cute. He's going to kind of float off the bottom of this oval here. And then I'm going to arrange these little pieces on the top and add a little string with a micron pen. Now you don't have to really worry too much about the string. Just make a little loop or something. Make it really fun, and don't stress out too much about making it super fancy. I'm just putting my little my little globe down there, making a little squiggly line, and it makes it look like a balloon. I am popping up those images with some foam adhesive so they kind of pop off the page as well. And then I'm layering on this cute little rocket ship here. I think it's so adorable, and this is a great, clean and simple card that you can give to anyone for any kind of celebration. So it's just another way to use those images. You can definitely do a galaxy background and use all these images, maybe watercolor a background. I know Fun Stamper Journey has all kinds of mixed media items that you can use to make really bright backgrounds, really great galaxy backgrounds. I just wanted to make this one a little bit clean and simple and show you another way to use these images in a way that maybe we didn't expect. I'm going to stamp out this sentiment on the bottom here with some black ink. It says, "Enjoy the adventure." So again, this could maybe be a graduation type card. You know, you're wishing your best to the grad as they're embarking on their adventure, maybe to college or into a job or something. And it's really bright with all those colors on there. And I think it's just a great, clean and simple card. So I loved this design so much that I did go ahead and I made a second card in this design. I'll have pictures of that, but I wanted to pop it up on a white card base so you have those bright colors with all of that white behind it, and it really makes those images stand out and pop. And I just thought it was so fun. So I hope you're enjoying this summer launch party, all of these great ideas and great images from Fun Stamper's Journey. I hope these cards have inspired you to go and create something on your own, giving you some ideas on how to use some of these different projects. And that's it. Those are the cards for today. It's a lot of ink blending, a lot of different coloring ideas, and you'll see here in one of these pictures the other card that I made with this same design. So thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoy this. Make sure to leave comments or even post your creations and tag Fun Stamper's Journey and Spellbinders. Have a great day, guys. Bye.